Hello, and welcome back to another useful episode here on Code Your English. I'm really happy to have you here today. If you are listening right now, it means you are taking time to improve your English and also improve your life. That is a great step. In this episode, we are going to talk about something very important, something we all do every day, even when we do not notice it. Today's topic is how self-talk affects your focus and performance. Let me start with a simple question. Do you ever talk to yourself in your mind? Maybe you say things like, "I can do this," or "This is too hard for me." This kind of talking is called self-talk. Self-talk is the voice inside your head. It is the inner voice you hear when you think, when you work, when you study, or when you try something new. Everyone has this inner voice. You have it. I have it. We all talk to ourselves every day. Self-talk is not strange, and it is not a bad thing. It is a normal part of being human. When you wake up in the morning, your self-talk starts. When you plan your day, when you make a decision, and even when you learn English, your self-talk is there. Sometimes it helps you. Sometimes it stops you. The words you say to yourself can change how you feel and how you act. Now, let's talk about focus. Focus means giving your attention to one thing. When you focus, you can listen better. You can understand better. You can learn faster. In daily life, focus is very important. At work, you need focus to finish your tasks. In study, you need focus to understand lessons. When you learn English, focus helps you listen clearly, remember words, and speak with more confidence. Let's also talk about performance. Performance means how well you do something. It is about your actions and results. For example, how well you speak English, how well you do your job, or how well you study for an exam. Your performance is not only about skill, it is also about your mind. What you think affects what you do. This is where self-talk becomes very powerful. If your self-talk is negative, your focus becomes weak. You feel stress, you feel fear, you make more mistakes. But if your self-talk is positive and kind, your focus becomes stronger. You feel calm. You feel ready. Your performance improves step by step. In this episode, you will learn what self-talk really is and how it works in your daily life. You will understand how your inner voice affects your focus and your performance. You will see clear and simple examples from work, study, and English learning. You will also learn how to change negative self-talk into positive self-talk in an easy and practical way. So stay with me, listen carefully, relax your mind. This episode will help you not only improve your English listening and speaking, but also understand yourself better. Let's begin this journey together, here on Code Your English. What is self-talk? Now let's talk clearly and simply about self-talk. This idea is very important, so please listen slowly and try to understand every part. Self-talk is the way you talk to yourself in your mind. It is the voice inside your head. You use this voice when you think, when you feel, and when you make decisions. You may not hear it loudly, but it is always there. Every day, from morning to night, you say many sentences to yourself. This is self-talk. Self-talk happens in very small moments. When you wake up, you may think, "Today will be a good day," or "I am tired." When you start work, you may say, "I need to focus," or "This is too much for me." These sentences are not spoken to other people. They are spoken only to you, but they are very powerful because your mind listens to them and believes them. There are two main types of self-talk. The first one is positive self-talk. Positive self-talk means speaking to yourself in a kind, supportive, and helpful way. It does not mean lying to yourself. It means encouraging yourself. For example, when you say, "I can do this," you are giving yourself strength. When you say, "I can learn step by step," you feel calmer and more confident. Positive self-talk helps you feel ready. It helps you try again when something is difficult. Imagine you are going to take an exam. You feel nervous. This is normal. Now think about what you say to yourself. If you say, "I prepared for this, I will try my best," your body feels better. Your mind becomes clearer. You can focus more. This is positive self-talk. It does not promise success, but it helps you perform better. Now let's talk about negative self-talk. Negative self-talk means speaking to yourself in a harsh, critical, or fearful way. These are sentences that make you feel small, weak, or afraid. For example, when you say, "I am not good enough," your energy goes down. When you say, "I always fail," you feel stress and pressure. Negative self-talk makes problems feel bigger than they really are. Think again about the exam situation. If you say to yourself, "I will fail," or "I am stupid," your focus becomes weak. Your hands may shake. Your mind may feel empty. Even if you studied well, negative self-talk can hurt your performance. The exam feels harder, not because it is harder, but because your thoughts are hurting you. Self-talk is very important when you learn English. Many English learners have strong negative self-talk. Before speaking, they think, "My English is bad," or "People will laugh at me." These thoughts create fear. Fear stops you from speaking. Fear breaks your focus. But when you change your self-talk, everything starts to change. Now imagine you want to speak English in front of others. If you say, "I will make mistakes, but that is okay," you feel more relaxed. If you say, "I am learning, and I am improving every day," you feel braver. This is positive self-talk. It helps you speak more. It helps you practice more. And practice is the key to improvement. It is important to understand that self-talk does not change the world around you. It changes the world inside you. It changes how you feel. It changes how you focus. And because of that, it changes how you act. Your actions create your results. Many people think self-talk is not important. They think it is just thinking. But thinking becomes feeling. Feeling becomes action. And action becomes performance. This is why self-talk matters so much. From now on, try to notice your self-talk. Listen to the sentences you say to yourself. Are they kind or unkind? Are they helpful or harmful? In the next parts of this episode, we will talk more about how self-talk affects your focus and performance, and how you can train your inner voice to support you, not stop you. Positive self-talk versus negative self-talk. Now let's go a little deeper and clearly understand the difference between positive self-talk and negative self-talk. This part is very important because once you see the difference, you can start changing the way you talk to yourself. Many people do not notice their self-talk, but when you notice it, you gain control over it. First, let's talk about positive self-talk. Positive self-talk is when you speak to yourself in a helpful and supportive way. It is not about being perfect, and it is not about saying unreal things. It is about using kind and realistic words. When you use positive self-talk, you help your mind feel calm and focused. For example, when you say, "I can do this," you give yourself courage. When you say, "This is difficult," but I will try, you allow yourself to move forward. Positive self-talk helps you take action even when you feel nervous or unsure. Positive self-talk supports you, and it helps you learn from mistakes. When you make a mistake and say, "It's okay, I am learning," you reduce stress. You do not stop, you continue. This is very important for learning English. You may not speak perfectly, but positive self-talk reminds you that practice is more important than perfection. Now let's look at negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is when you speak to yourself in a critical and harmful way. These are the sentences that make you feel weak, afraid, or tired before you even start. For example, when you say, "I am not good enough," your confidence goes down. When you say, "I always fail," your motivation becomes very low. Negative self-talk makes tasks feel heavier and more difficult. Negative self-talk hurts your focus. You want to do something, but your mind keeps telling you that you cannot. You want to speak English, however your thoughts say, "People will judge me." Because of these thoughts, you feel fear. Fear blocks your attention. Your mind becomes busy with worry instead of learning. Let's make this very clear with a simple comparison. Positive self-talk helps you move forward. Negative self-talk pulls you back. Positive self-talk gives you energy. Negative self-talk takes energy away. Positive self-talk says, "Try again." Negative self-talk says, "Stop now." Both types of self-talk are powerful, but they work in very different ways. Think about a simple daily situation. You want to study English after a long day. Positive self-talk says, "I am tired, but I can study for 10 minutes." This thought makes the task feel possible. You start, and often you continue for longer. Negative self-talk says, "I am too tired. There is no point." This thought stops you before you begin. The situation is the same. However, the result is very different. Now think about speaking English. Positive self-talk says, "I may make mistakes, and that is okay." This thought helps you speak more. Negative self-talk says, "My English is bad." This thought makes you silent. Both thoughts come from your mind, but one helps you grow, and the other stops your growth. It is also important to know that negative self-talk often sounds louder than positive self-talk. It can feel automatic. Many people learned it from past experiences, school, or fear of judgment. However, this does not mean it is true. A thought is just a thought. It is not a fact. Positive self-talk is a skill. It takes practice. At first, it may feel strange to speak kindly to yourself, but when you practice, it becomes natural. Slowly, your focus improves. Your stress becomes lower. Your performance becomes better. In the next part of this episode, we will talk about how self-talk directly affects your focus and attention, and why your inner voice can either help you concentrate or distract you. Keep listening and keep noticing how you speak to yourself. How self-talk affects your focus. Now let's talk about focus and how self-talk affects it in your daily life. Focus means giving your full attention to one thing. When you focus, your mind stays with the task in front of you. You are not thinking about many things at the same time. You are present. Focus helps you understand better, remember more, and finish tasks with less stress. In today's world, focus is very important, but it is also very difficult. Many things try to take our attention, like phones, messages, noise, and worries. However, one of the biggest reasons we lose focus is our own self-talk. The words you say to yourself can either help your attention or break it. Let's first see how negative self-talk breaks focus. When your self-talk is negative, your mind becomes busy with fear, doubt, and worry. For example, when you think, "This is too hard," your brain starts to feel stress. Because of this stress, your attention moves away from the task. You may start thinking about failure instead of learning. So, your focus becomes weak. Imagine you are studying English. You open your book or start listening to a lesson. At first, you want to learn. But then you think, "I will never understand this." When this thought comes, your focus breaks. You read the words, but you do not understand them. You listen, but you do not remember anything. This happens because your mind is fighting with negative thoughts instead of focusing on the lesson. Negative self-talk also makes you look for distractions. When learning feels heavy, your brain wants to escape. So you check your phone, you open social media. You tell yourself, "Just 1 minute." When you do this, your focus becomes even weaker. One negative thought leads to distraction, and distraction leads to lost time. Now let's talk about positive self-talk and focus. Positive self-talk helps your mind feel safe and calm. When your mind feels calm, it can focus better. For example, when you say, "I can learn this step by step," your brain relaxes. Because you feel less pressure, your attention stays longer on the task. Think about listening to a podcast in English, like this one. If you say to yourself, "I don't understand everything," but that's okay. You keep listening. You focus on the main ideas. You hear new words. So, your listening skill improves slowly and naturally. But if you say, "I understand nothing," you stop listening. Your focus disappears. Let's look at another real-life example. You are working on an important task. You want to finish it well. If your self-talk says, "I always make mistakes," you feel nervous. Your mind jumps from one thought to another. You check your phone again and again. You feel tired quickly. This happens because negative self-talk creates mental noise. Now, change the self-talk. You say, "I will focus for 10 minutes. This is simple and realistic. When you say this, your mind has a clear direction. 10 minutes feels possible. You focus better. Often, after 10 minutes, you can continue. Positive self-talk gives your mind a clear and friendly instruction. Self-talk also affects how long you can focus. Negative self-talk makes time feel slow and heavy. Positive self-talk makes time feel lighter. Because your mind feels supported, you can stay with the task longer. It is important to understand that focus is not about forcing yourself. It is about guiding your mind. Self-talk is the guide. When your inner voice is kind and clear, your attention follows it. When your inner voice is critical and noisy, your attention breaks. From now on, notice what you say to yourself when you lose focus. Ask yourself, what thought came before this? Many times, you will see that a negative sentence started the problem. In the next part of this episode, we will talk about how self-talk affects your performance, not just your focus, and how small changes in your inner voice can create big results. How self-talk affects your performance. Now let's talk about performance and how self-talk changes the results you get in your life. Performance means how well you do something. It is about your actions and your results. It is not only about talent or intelligence. Very often, performance is about what you do when something feels difficult. And this is where self-talk plays a very strong role. Your self-talk affects your performance because it influences your actions. When your inner voice supports you, you try more. When your inner voice is negative, you stop early. So even if two people have the same skills, their performance can be very different because they speak to themselves in different ways. Let's look at performance in study. Imagine you are studying English or another subject. You read a page, but you do not understand everything. If your self-talk says, "I am bad at this," you feel disappointed. You may close the book. You may stop studying early. In the past, many learners gave up like this, not because they were weak, but because their self-talk told them to stop. Now imagine a different self-talk. You say, "This is hard, but I can learn slowly." This simple sentence changes your behavior. You read again. You listen again. You maybe look up one word. So your performance improves. You stay longer with the task. Over time, these small actions create big results. Now let's talk about performance at work. At work, performance is about finishing tasks, solving problems, and working with others. When self-talk is negative, work feels heavy. For example, when someone thinks, "I always make mistakes," they become afraid to try. They work slowly. They avoid new tasks. This affects their performance, even if they are capable. However, when self-talk is positive, work becomes easier to handle. When someone says, "I may make mistakes, and I can learn from them," they feel more relaxed. They take action. They ask questions. Because they act instead of avoiding, their performance becomes better step by step. Now let's talk about speaking English, which is very important for many listeners here on Code Your English. Many English learners feel fear when they speak. In the past, you may have thought, "People will laugh at me," or "My English is not good." Because of these thoughts, you stayed quiet. You did not practice. Your performance stayed low, not because you could not speak, but because fear stopped you. When you change your self-talk, your performance changes. Imagine you say, "I will make mistakes," and that is okay. You start speaking. You may make errors, but you continue. You learn from experience. So, your speaking performance improves. Every time you try again, you become a little better. Self-talk also affects how you react after mistakes. With negative self-talk, one mistake feels like failure. You think about it again and again. In the past, many learners stopped trying after one bad experience. But with positive self-talk, a mistake becomes a lesson. You think, "I learned something today." This thought helps you try again tomorrow. Performance is not about being perfect. It is about continuing. Positive self-talk encourages continuation. Negative self-talk encourages giving up early. This is a big difference. In daily life, small thoughts create small actions. Small actions create habits. Habits create performance. And performance creates results. This is why self-talk matters so much. From now on, when you do something important, listen to your inner voice. Ask yourself, is this voice helping me or stopping me? When you choose positive self-talk, you choose better actions. And when your actions change, your performance improves naturally. How to improve your self-talk. Now, before we finish, let's talk about how to improve your self-talk with some very simple tips. These tips are easy to understand, and more importantly, they are easy to use in real life. You do not need to change everything at once. Slow improvement is the best way. Small steps, done every day, can create big change over time. The first tip is this: try to slow down and listen to your thoughts. Many times, negative self-talk comes very fast. It feels automatic, so the first action is to slow down for a moment. When you feel stress, fear, or doubt, stop and listen. Ask yourself, What am I saying to myself right now? Just listening already helps. When you listen, you create space. And in that space, you can choose better words. The second tip is, remember to use simple and kind words. Your self-talk does not need to be long or complicated. Simple sentences work best. Say things like, I will try, or I am learning. These words are soft, but they are strong. They reduce pressure. They help your mind feel safe. When your mind feels safe, you can focus and act better. The third tip is, say positive sentences again and again. Repetition is very important. Your mind learns through repetition. If you repeat negative sentences for years, your mind believes them. But when you repeat positive sentences daily, your mind slowly changes. Say positive sentences in the morning. Say them before studying English. Say them before speaking. Even 1 minute of repetition can help. The fourth tip is, remember that improvement is slow, and that is okay. Do not expect big changes in one day. Some days, your self-talk will be good. Some days, negative thoughts will return. This is normal. Do not be angry with yourself. Just continue. Every time you choose kind words, you are improving. Try to connect self-talk with action. Say, I will study for 5 minutes, and then do it. Say, I will speak 1 sentence, and then speak. These small actions build trust in yourself. When you trust yourself, your self-talk becomes stronger and kinder. Remember, the way you speak to yourself shapes the way you live. When your words are supportive, your life becomes lighter. Keep practicing. Be patient. You are learning, and you are moving forward every day. Self-talk and English learning. Now let's talk about self-talk and English learning, because this is one of the most important parts of this episode. Many people want to improve their English, but they feel stuck. Very often, the real problem is not grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. The real problem is what they say to themselves. Many English learners have strong negative self-talk. These thoughts come quietly, but they are very powerful. For example, you may say to yourself, "My English is bad." When you repeat this sentence in your mind, you start to believe it. Because you believe it, you feel less confident. Because you feel less confident, you speak less. And when you speak less, your English does not improve. This is how negative self-talk stops progress. Another common negative thought is, people will laugh. Many learners think this before speaking. They imagine others judging them. They feel fear. When fear comes, the body becomes tense. The mind becomes busy. Words disappear. Even simple sentences feel hard. So learners stay silent. Silence feels safe, but it also stops learning. In the past, many learners gave up speaking English because of these thoughts. They studied alone. They listened, but they did not speak. They waited to be perfect. But perfection never comes. Negative self-talk keeps telling them to wait, to hide, and to stop. Now let's look at positive self-talk and how it changes everything. Positive self-talk does not say, "My English is perfect." Instead, it says, "I can improve step by step." This sentence is simple, realistic, and powerful. When you say this, you give yourself permission to learn. You accept that learning takes time, so you feel calmer. Positive self-talk also helps you speak. When you say, "Mistakes help me learn," your fear becomes smaller. You stop seeing mistakes as something bad. You see them as part of the journey. Because of this, you speak more. And the more you speak, the better you become. Confidence in English does not come first. Action comes first. Positive self-talk pushes you to take action. You may still feel nervous, but you try. You speak one sentence. You answer one question. You practice 1 minute. These small actions slowly build confidence. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you want to speak English with someone. Negative self-talk says, I will sound stupid. Positive self-talk says, I will try, even if it is not perfect. With negative self-talk, you stay silent. With positive self-talk, you speak. Speaking creates experience. Experience creates improvement. Repetition is very important here. When you repeat positive sentences, your mind starts to believe them. Say things like, I am learning every day. Say, I am not afraid of mistakes. Say, my English is getting better. These sentences guide your actions. It is also important to be kind to yourself. You are learning a new language. This is not easy. Many people speak only one language their whole life. You are doing something brave. When your self-talk is kind, your learning becomes lighter and more enjoyable. English learning is a long journey. There will be good days and bad days. On bad days, self-talk matters even more. Negative self-talk makes bad days worse. Positive self-talk helps you continue. From now on, listen to the voice inside your head when you learn English. Change I can't to I am learning. Change I am bad to I am improving. These small changes will help you speak more, learn more, and enjoy the journey more. How to change negative self-talk. Practical steps. Now, let's talk about how to change negative self-talk. This part is very practical, and you can start using it today. Changing self-talk does not need special tools or long time. It starts with awareness and small daily actions. The way you speak to yourself can change, but you must practice it with patience. The first step is to notice your thoughts. Many thoughts happen automatically. You do not choose them, and you may not even hear them clearly. So the first action is simple. Listen. Listen to what you say to yourself during the day. Listen when you feel stress. Listen when you make a mistake. Ask yourself, what did I just say in my mind? This step is very important because you cannot change something you do not notice. When you start listening, you will hear negative sentences. You may hear things like, I am not good enough, or I always fail. Do not judge yourself for these thoughts. Just notice them. Say to yourself, this is negative self-talk. This awareness already gives you a little control. The next step is to stop the negative sentence. You do not need to fight it. You do not need to be angry with it. Just stop it gently. When you hear a negative thought, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Tell yourself, stop. This small pause breaks the habit. It creates space for a new thought. After stopping the negative sentence, the next step is to replace it with a positive one. This is very important. If you only stop the negative thought, your mind may go back to it. So you need to change the words. Choose simple and kind sentences. For example, change I can't do this to I will try. Change my English is bad to my English is improving. These new sentences should feel real and possible. Now comes an important rule. Speak kindly to yourself. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a good friend. You would not say, you are stupid, to a friend. You would say, it's okay, keep going. Give yourself the same kindness. When you make a mistake, say, I am learning. When you feel tired, say, I can rest and continue later. Practice is the key. Changing self-talk does not happen in one day. You need to practice daily. Repeat positive sentences every morning. Use them before studying English. Use them before speaking. Over time, your mind learns a new habit. The new voice becomes stronger. Be patient with yourself. Some days, negative self-talk will come back. This is normal. Do not feel disappointed. Just listen again, stop again, and change again. Every time you do this, you become better at it. Remember, self-talk is like training a muscle. The more you use positive self-talk, the stronger it becomes. Small steps, daily practice, and kindness will slowly change the way you think, feel, and act. Daily self-talk practice. Simple exercises. Now let's talk about daily self-talk practice, because understanding is not enough. Practice is what creates real change. These simple exercises are easy to do, and you can use them every day. You do not need much time, just a few minutes in the morning, during study, before speaking, and at night can slowly change your inner voice. Let's start with morning self-talk. The way you talk to yourself in the morning sets the tone for the day. When you wake up, your mind is fresh. This is a good time to choose positive words. You can say simple sentences like, "Today I will try my best," or "I am learning and improving." You can say them in your mind or speak them aloud. Speaking aloud is very powerful, because your ears hear your own voice. These words help your mind feel calm and ready. Now let's talk about self-talk while studying English. Before you start studying, say something kind to yourself. You can say, "I will study for 10 minutes," or "I will focus on one small thing." This makes the task feel easy. While studying, negative thoughts may come. When they come, notice them and change them. Say, "It is okay if I don't understand everything," or "I can learn step by step." These sentences help you continue instead of stopping. Self-talk is also very important before speaking English. Many learners feel nervous before they speak. This is normal. Before you speak, take a breath and say, "I will try," or "Mistakes help me learn." You can repeat these sentences 2 or 3 times. When you do this, your body feels more relaxed. Your mind feels safer. You may still feel nervous, but you will speak. Speaking aloud is very helpful here. You can practice alone at home. Stand in front of a mirror and say simple, positive sentences. For example, "I can speak English," or "I am not afraid of mistakes." This may feel strange at first, but it works. Over time, your confidence grows. Now, let's talk about night reflection. At night, before sleeping, think about your day. Do not focus only on problems. Think about one good thing you did. Maybe you studied for 5 minutes. Maybe you spoke one sentence in English. Say to yourself, "I did something good today." This helps your mind feel proud and peaceful. Night self-talk is important because it closes the day. When you speak kindly to yourself at night, your mind rests better. You feel less stress, and the next day starts with more energy. The key to all these exercises is repetition. Short sentences, simple words, daily practice. You do not need to be perfect. Just be consistent. Self-talk is a habit, and habits grow slowly. When you practice positive self-talk every day, your focus improves, your confidence grows, and your English learning becomes easier and more enjoyable. Keep practicing. You are doing better than you think. Now we are coming to the end of today's episode. And before we finish, let's take a calm moment together. Today we talked about self-talk and how it affects your focus and your performance. We learned that self-talk is the voice inside your head. It is the way you speak to yourself every day, during work, study, and especially when you learn English. This inner voice may feel small, but it has a very strong power over your actions. We talked about how negative self-talk can break your focus. It fills your mind with fear and doubt. It makes learning feel heavy. It makes you stop early. We also talked about how positive self-talk can support your focus. It helps your mind feel calm. It helps you stay with the task longer. It helps you try again, even when things feel difficult. We also learned that self-talk affects your performance. It changes what you do after a mistake. Negative self-talk pushes you to give up. Positive self-talk encourages you to continue. And when you continue, you improve. This is true for study, for work, and especially for speaking English. Success is not only about talent. It is about what you say to yourself when the situation is not easy. If there is one thing to remember from this episode, it is this: your self-talk can be your support or your enemy. The good news is that you can choose it. You can listen to it. You can change it. Small changes in your words can create big changes in your life. If you want to improve your English, start by speaking kindly to yourself. If you want better focus, guide your mind with gentle words. If you want better performance, encourage yourself instead of judging yourself. This is not magic. This is daily practice, and you are capable of it. As you go back to your day, I want to leave you with a simple reflection question. Take a moment and think about it honestly. What do you say to yourself when you try something difficult? Do your words help you move forward, or do they stop you? This question alone can change the way you think. My gentle call to action for you today is simple. For the next few days, listen to your inner voice. When you hear a negative sentence, pause. Change it into a kinder one. Speak to yourself like a good friend. This small habit can slowly change your focus, your confidence, and your results. Thank you for spending this time with me here on Code Your English. Keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Your journey is important, and you are doing better than you think.